Oh, hello, and welcome back to the Backed by Bone podcast. As always, I'm your host, Chris, aka Don Burgundy, on the internet. This is episode 52. We are here Monday, 11/6/2023. It is almost Thanksgiving. Holy shit. Um, we're going to start how I always start with the NFL predictions. So let's take a look at last week. Week 8 was looking pretty good. I got a couple wrong, so let's take a look at the games. Monday night was the Raiders and Lions, and I'm pretty sure I took the line. Excuse me, took the Lions, and I did, and there's another W. So if everybody listening out there is a betting man or woman and wants to ride with me on these, I'm not putting any money down on these because I don't have money. But I'm just saying if you're just going straight up like picking on the spread, you'd be or money line or whatever you want, you'd be up from last week. So I only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wrong. Let's take a look at week 9. Titans and Steelers. The Steelers beat the Titans 20-16, so I got that one wrong. Not looking so good. Dolphins and Chiefs. I took the Dolphins, but the Chiefs actually ended up winning that, so I fucked up. That was actually a really good game. That was the first Frankfurt Germany game. Chiefs beat the Dolphins 21-14. Vikings Falcons 30. Vikings beat the Falcons 31-28. So far, I'm on a losing streak. That Vikings game was actually really good because Joshua Dobbs played out of his mind. First game in a Vikings uniform. Bears and Saints. The Saints beat the Bears 24-17. My first W on the day. Rams and Packers. Packers shit all over the Rams 20-3. It's another L for your boy. Commanders and Patriots. I took Commanders here, which was obviously the right choice. Commanders beat the Patriots 20-17. Actually, a pretty close game, but very sloppy play from both teams. Ravens and Seahawks. Ravens crapped all over the Seahawks 37-3. My boy, who's one of my coworkers, is gonna be pissed about that. Buccaneers and Texans. I actually picked the Buccaneers here, but the Texans beat the Bucks 39-37. In a really close game, high scoring, but CJ Stroud played absolutely out of his mind. He's potentially in the MVP conversation, if you ask me, because he's playing fucking lights out. And speaking of lights out, the Browns beat the Cardinals 27-0. I had the Browns there. That was Deshaun Watson's first game back. Colts and Panthers. Colts beat the Panthers 27-13. I had the Colts there. Raiders and Giants. Obviously, I went with the Raiders. Raiders won 30-6. Giants suck. Eagles and Cowboys. I did pick the Eagles here, and they ended up beating the Cowboys 28-23 in a really, really close game, which was actually very entertaining to watch. And then the Sunday night game, the Bengals ended up beating the Bills 24-18. I rode with the Bengals there because I thought that was a good idea, and obviously it was. And then we have the Monday night game tonight, which is the Chargers versus the Jets, and that's at MetLife Stadium, I believe, East Rutherford, New Jersey. I'm picking the Chargers there, so those are going to be my picks. Those are the results, my apologies, for week 7, and we're on to week 9, which is week 10, which is crazy. This NFL season has been going by very, very fast. So we have the Thursday night game with the Panthers and Bears. I really don't know because this is kind of a shit bowl, but the Panthers look worse, so I'm gonna go Bears here because I feel like they're starting to kind of get it together. Colts Patriots is going to be the other Frankfurt Germany game. Normally I don't like the Colts, but the Patriots are just so bad that I'm going with Colts. Browns, Ravens. Definitely Ravens there, especially since it's in Baltimore. Packers Steelers is a pretty interesting matchup. The Packers are kind of getting it together, but so are the Steelers. I think the Packers. God damn it! This is at home. I'm going for it's in Pittsburgh. I'm going Steelers here. Stupid idea, but I'm doing it. 49ers and Jaguars is a very interesting matchup because both of these teams are coming off of a bye. I'm going to go to Niners here. I wouldn't be surprised if they drop this game. Saints Vikings is actually a really good matchup now because Joshua Dobbs looks like he's that guy. Hmm. I think this one's going to be close, but I'm going to go Vikings here, even though I like the Saints better. Texans and Bengals is actually a really good matchup now that we see that the Texans kind of have their shit together. But I just think that the Bengals really have more synergy, so I'm going to go with them. Titans and Buccaneers is actually a really good matchup as well. This is in Tampa. Bucks are coming off of a fat loss, so I think I'm going to go Bucks here. Lions and Chargers is another good matchup. Holy shit, Week 10 is stacked. And this is at SoFi. Lions, fuck, I really like to see how they play against just tonight, but with no prior info, I'm going to go Lions. Ooh, Falcons and Cardinals. If you're going to skip a game, it's definitely going to be that one. Go Falcons here because the Cardinals are tanking. Giants and Cowboys. I think it's pretty obvious who wins that. It's obviously the Cowboys, barring some kind of crazy incident. Commanders Seahawks is actually a really good game because both these teams need a win really bad. The Commanders just won, but they still need a lot of wins to stack up to be competitive in that division. I'm going to go Seahawks since they're coming off a loss, and it's in Seattle, and they need a win really bad. We got Jets Raiders in Vegas, so I'm going Raiders. Never bet with the Jets. And then we have Broncos Bills. Bills need a fat win because they are looking slim. Also, they're playing against the Broncos. Granted, the Broncos upset the Kansas City Chiefs the other week, but I don't think that happens again. I think that's like lightning doesn't always strike twice in the same spot, so we're going to go with the Bills there. Okay, looking at the picks for week number 10, we've got Bears, Colts, Ravens, Steelers, 49ers, Vikings, Bengals, Bucks, Lions, Falcons, Cowboys, Seahawks, Raiders, and the Bills. So we'll see how that goes. As of last week, I've only got 5 games wrong so far. So not too bad. That's definitely a winning record, so we'll stick with that. But I think that's going to be it for the NFL. Wanted to also talk quickly NCAA football. We had some really cool matchups this past weekend. Obviously, Colorado losing to Oregon State. That was kind of expected. The Alabama LSU game is actually pretty good. I didn't watch really any of the game, but it looks like Alabama, they just have a crazy running game. I guess their quarterback is just a running back as well. I don't know. The kid's a freak, I guess. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes number 1 in the draft. Other games that we had, USC Washington. Pretty tough for USC. I'm pretty sure they just lost that number to their name next to their name because of this game. They lost 52-42. Washington kind of cementing themselves as really that top 5 team. I don't even know who is on their team, but they're 9-0, so I'll shut my goddamn mouth. I did watch the Georgia and Missouri game. That was actually really close and really good game. Georgia obviously is just fucking an absolute powerhouse. And Carson Beck, their quarterback, the kid's just out of his mind. Any other cool matchups? So if you guys are going to go back and watch a couple replays or highlights of games, definitely watch the Georgia-Missouri game, the Washington-USC game, and the Alabama-LSU game. Other than that, everything else was kind of mid. I'm pretty sure Kansas State lost that number next to their name because of that. I'm pretty sure Texas A&M did as well. So a lot of rankings switching up here, but it's kind of nice to see. And then coming up this weekend, any good matchups that I'd be interested to watch? Alabama's going to play University of Kentucky and fucking roll right over them. Colorado's playing Arizona. That might be a win for them. This Tennessee-Missouri matchup should be pretty sick on Saturday at 3:30. Washington versus Utah at 3:30. That should be a good matchup. Georgia-Mississippi is a good matchup as well. Okay, so 3 good games so far. And then USC-Oregon. So 4 good games. The USC-Oregon game is just at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is late as fuck. So for Week 11 of NCAA football, the 5 games to watch would be Michigan-Penn State, which is noon Eastern. Then you can kind of skip the Colorado Arizona game if you want. The Missouri Tennessee game at 3:30, the Washington Utah game at 3:30, the Georgia Mississippi game at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the USC Oregon game at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Those would be the games that I would keep an eye out on. And then I believe UFC wise, there was a UFC card. It was a fucking fight night in Brazil. Yeah, so it was the Gelton Almeida Derek Lewis fight. Derek Lewis ended up losing. Everything else on this card I don't really give enough of a fuck about. Um, yeah, it's supposed to be Curtis Blades, but then he had to drop out. And then, yeah, this was just kind of a stinker, so you guys could definitely just fucking look right over that. And then we've got UFC 295, which is actually coming up this weekend. Unfortunately, John Jones and Stipe got canceled because John Jones got hurt. But this card is still pretty stacked. Looking at the early prelims, there's nobody on the card I recognize for the early prelims. Go to the regular prelims. Nope, nothing on here, so we'll go right into the main card. Let's see here. The Pat Sabatini, Diego Lopez, I don't care. Matt Fravola and Benoit Saint Denis, don't care. Jessica Andrade and Mackenzie Dern, don't care. So I guess this is basically this. I mean, this used to be an insanely stacked card, but I guess it's not anymore. The co-main is good, so Sergey Pavlovich versus Tom Aspinall. That's a really good fight. I don't really know who wins this because these guys are both really good. Damn. I'm gonna go with Tom Aspinall because I like Tom. And then the Yuri Prochaska and Alex Pereira fight. I really have no idea how this one pans out because Yuri hasn't fought in a while, and this is one of Alex's only tests in the light heavyweight division. Um, so I guess we'll see. I'm gonna say Yuri via decision, but I could be wrong. So 295, keep an eye out for this. I don't know what I'm gonna do in terms of watching this or not, but excuse me. I will also be at a wedding this weekend, so you know, I might be awake for this, but we'll see. I might be fucking hammered for this, but again, I don't know. We'll see. But it is what it is for that one. I also wanted to talk quickly about the Francis Ngannou Tyson Fury fight because I actually ended up watching that. It was actually a really, really good fight. I thought Francis kind of um, put on a display of high quality heavyweight boxing. Obviously, his technicality isn't what you would see in some of those lighter weight divisions. Excuse me. Obviously, Tyson Fury's a freak because he's a heavyweight, but he has a lot of technical skill. But Francis Ngannou went toe to toe with him, actually got a knockdown in the third round. So if you guys are looking for a high quality heavyweight boxing fight, definitely go back and watch the highlights of this fight because it was an absolute banger from round one to the last round. So definitely watch it. Some people thought Francis got robbed. I personally don't know enough about boxing and the scoring system, and I wasn't paying close enough attention to really sit here and say like, oh, Francis won or oh, Francis got robbed. But it's like I kind of figured like if he didn't absolutely like knock out Tyson Fury, he wasn't gonna win via decision because boxing's corrupt. So that's my thing. But we're gonna see hopefully some cool boxing matchups between Francis Ngannou and some really big names in the industry, which is this. I think this is something that the boxing world needed because I personally don't give a fuck about boxing except for like 5 boxers. Everyone else I could really give a shit about. I just think boxing's kind of fucked up, but whatever. I just wanted to touch on that really quickly and just recommend that you guys should definitely take a look at the highlights of this fight because it has potentially fight of the year. I want to say that in terms of boxing, it is for sure. I think fight of the year. In terms of hype and then actual outcome. But yeah. And then we'll go into the NHL really quickly. Boston Bruins playing tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in Dallas against the Dallas Stars. Bruins suffered their first um, their first regulation loss because they only lost once in OT. It was to the Red Wings on this past Saturday. It was a 5-4 loss, unfortunately. Goals by the usual suspects here: Pastrnak, Van Riemsdyk, Charlie Coyle. This Matt Poitras guy, I'm not familiar with him, so must be a relatively. He's 19 years old. Okay, so we drafted him last year, 54th overall. So like nice to see some young blood in there. Definitely fucking doing some shit. And then the Red Wings obviously ended up winning by 1 goal. I don't recognize any of these Red Wings players at all. Yeah, well, I mean, good for them. Who's their goaltender? Ville Husso. Who was in goal for the Bruins? Allmark. Damn. Tough loss, but, it is what it is. This season's still looking really, really good. Um, let's take a look at. There's like way too many games to go actually over because on Saturday night there was a fucking absurd amount of games. Um, any cool Blackhawks beat the Panthers 5-2. That's really good to see. Rangers ended up losing. Penguins won 10-2. Oh my god. Vegas beat fucking Colorado 7-0. Wow, some really cool fucking matchups here. Then yesterday, Anaheim beat Vegas. Okay, and then New Jersey beat Blackhawks. This season of NHL is looking really, really cool. And then for today, games wise, the only one that's probably going to be the most actually well, so there's two good games that you could tune into. It's the Lightning versus the Maple Leafs at 7 p.m. Eastern, and/or the Bruins and Stars at 8 p.m. Eastern. Some two really good matchups. And then tomorrow, this Rangers and Red Wings game now looks really good after the Red Wings just beat the Bruins. This Devils and Avalanche matchup tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time looks pretty sick as well. So keep an eye out for that. So those will be the two games to watch tomorrow. And then we'll just fucking, go for the rest of it, whatever. But the Bruins still looking very hot in the Eastern Conference, top of the Atlantic Division, best record um, in the Eastern Conference at 9-1-1. How many points? Already 19 points. The only team with more points at a better record is the Golden Knights, but the Golden Knights have played two more games than the Bruins have, so, um, what are you gonna do? But it's cool to see where the Atlantic Division is shaping up currently. Obviously, it's still early in the season, but you got Bruins, Red Wings, Lightning's, Maple Leafs. Normally the Panthers would be up there, but the Panthers are 5-4-1 right now, so it's nice to see them knocked down a little bit just because I don't like them as much. I mean, they're a good organization. I really like how they play. It's just that they beat the Bruins a lot, so fuck them. And then the Metro Division, Rangers, Devils, Hurricanes. I really like how that looks, especially with the Penguins looking so bad at 4-6. But I really like how that looks. Western Conference, we've got Stars, Avalanche, and Jets. I really like that. But the Blackhawks are actually kind of surging a little bit here. I know they just lost, but they're starting to pick up some key wins against some big teams. So let's not count them out yet. And then in Pacific, we got Vegas. Hold on, I'm busy. We got Vegas, Canucks, and the Kings. I don't really care about that. That could literally go anywhere. I don't really care. Then looking at the NBA, we've got the in-season tournament going on currently, which is pretty dope. Where is... Alright, so we have in-season stage. I'm in the middle of doing something. I'll... Huh? No, I'm good, thank you, though. Um, NBA in-season tournament that already started on the 3rd. A lot of the games went as you would expect. One thing I did want to bring up was this Knicks Bucks game. How Jalen Brunson literally dropped 45 points in 42 minutes with 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and they still lost. How does their center Mitchell Robinson play 29 minutes and not have a single point? Granted, he has 15 rebounds, which is great, but he doesn't have a single point. You can't convert any of those rebounds into a point. Are you serious? Like, what happened? Like, and they only lost by 5 points. So it's like, if Mitchell Robinson gets even 2 buckets, that puts them right there, right next to the score for the Bucks. So like, I don't know. Like Jalen Brunson, like, how do you He almost dropped 50 fucking points. He dropped 45 in 42 minutes. Jesus Christ. But whatever. Um, and then let's see, in season tournament, Nets beat the Bulls, Nuggets beat the Mavs. And then Saturday games, 76ers actually end up beating the Suns. I mean, they're still resting everybody, so that makes sense. Celtics beat the Knicks 124 to 114. Expected. Some really good score lines here from the top performers of the Celtics. Kristaps Porzingis putting up 22, Jaylen Brown with 23, Jason Tatum 32. This is kind of what you want to see here with Tatum, Porzingis, Brown, and Drew Holiday. Like, this is kind of what I'm expecting the core of the Celtics to look like, and this is kind of what I want them to look like in terms of scorelines. Um, what else? The Rockets ended up beating the Kings 107 to 89. That's crazy. And then the games yesterday, nothing really worth reporting on. The Suns get a win over the Pistons. The Cavs actually ended up beating the Warriors. Okay, that's worth reporting on. Draymond Green, only 18 points. Steph Curry, 28. Klay Thompson with 15. Chris Paul had 5. Really? Huh. 25 minutes and 5 points. Interesting. Maybe I'd have to go back and watch that game to fucking really know what happened. Donovan Mitchell dropped a hot 31 points on the Warriors for a win. Good for him, dude. I like Donovan Mitchell. I don't recognize anybody else on this team besides Donovan Mitchell and Tristan Thompson. So, oh well. And then looking at the games coming up, and then we'll look at the standings. The Celtics play today against the Timberwolves in Minnesota at 8 p.m. Eastern, so that should be good. Bucks and Nets today, 7:30. Clippers Knicks actually is a really good matchup. Lakers Heat. Ooh, there's a lot of good games. Okay, so good games to watch. I would say Clippers Knicks, Lakers Heat, Bucks Nets. You could probably skip the Celtics game because they're playing against the Timberwolves and they should crap on them. I think that's about it. Those are probably the best matchups. Yeah, and then Celtics play the 76ers on the 8th, so keep an eye out for that. Let's take a look at the standings really quickly. Celtics still topping the East without dropping a single game yet. They are 5-0. I'm not expecting that to last too long, but we will see how it goes. It goes Celtics, Sixers, Hawks, Magic, Bucks. Pretty weird that the Magic are up there, but good for them. The top 5 of the East are pretty stacked, I will admit. And then in the West, we have Nuggets, Mavs, Warriors, Pelicans, surprisingly. Timberwolves, Clippers, Lakers, blah, 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 blah. And the Suns are all the way down there at 10th at 3-4. I don't expect this to stay like this for very long. Especially also seeing the Grizzlies at 1-6, 15th in the Western Conference. I think they have they're tied with the worst record in the actual whole NBA. So, pretty sad for them. But, what are you going to do? We'll move quickly past the NBA. Keep an eye out for that. We got a cool Premier League matchup today with Tottenham versus Chelsea. I think Tottenham's going to shit all over them. I was watching a little bit of the Luton Town Liverpool match yesterday. They tied the game 0-0, but it was pretty interesting to me because Liverpool had the majority of the possession for 74% of the game, and they still tied. Like, come on, man, you really got to close it out here. But looking at the standings, Man City, Tottenham, Liverpool somehow. Oh, okay. So the only reason that Man City's over Tottenham is because Man City's played 11 games and Tottenham's only played 10. So if Tottenham wins today, which they should, they'll probably retain the top spot in first place. But top 5 of Premier League is looking pretty fucking stacked here, boys. It's Man City, Tottenham, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Aston Villa. And then even right behind them, you know what I mean? 5, 6, and 7. 6, 7, and 8 are all pretty fucking close. So, keep an eye out, gang. Premier League is heating up. Let's take a look at the matches. So, obviously today, the Tottenham game, it's the only game on today. So, if that's what you want to do, you can watch that at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then, Tottenham's playing again at 7:30 a.m. Eastern, November 11th against Wolverhampton. They should stomp all over them. The Man United Luton Town game is actually pretty interesting now at 10 a.m. Arsenal's playing Burnley. That's probably going to be a stomp. And Chelsea and Man City on November 12th at 11:30 a.m. should probably actually be a pretty decent game now. So that's worth watching. Um, but I think the biggest matchup that you're going to see is November 25th. This Man City Liverpool game. This is right after Thanksgiving, 2 days after Thanksgiving. So Man City Liverpool, November 25th, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's going to be a fucking banger. So keep an eye out for that. But we'll end Premier League there, and then I wanted to talk about um, the League of Legends Worlds, big dog. As we can see, all of the Western teams have been knocked out, so it's only Chinese and Korean teams left. It is the majority of Chinese teams, and then the Koreans are still topping it out with T1. So as you can see, BLG ended up beating Genji in a 3-2 5-game series. If you really like high quality League of Legends between Asian teams, this is the highlights to go back and watch. Weibo Gaming ended up 3-0ing NRG, which is kind of expected. Don't need to watch that. JDG 3-1 KT, which you don't really need to watch, and T1 3-0'd LNG, which you don't really need to watch. But the semifinals matchups are pretty dope. So it's BLG versus Weibo. I would expect BLG to win. I think it's going to be a close series though, so I'm going BLG 3-2. And then JDG T1, which I expect this to be close as well. But I would man, you know what? I'm gonna say JDG 3-1. So it's gonna be BLG JDG in the finals is my prediction. But keep an eye on that. So semifinals starts this weekend, November 11th, 3 a.m. Eastern with Weibo and BLG, and then Sunday it's the JDG T1 series. So I'm gonna try and wake up early on the weekend for these games, but we'll see. I don't really have much going on this weekend in terms of those times because I'm not working those times, but because I'm going to a wedding on Friday, or no, wedding on Saturday, so I took Friday off, so I'll have Friday, Saturday um, morning to watch these games, so I should be good. I just need to wake up kind of early. I mean, problem is that if the games start at 3 a.m. Eastern, I probably won't wake up until like 6 at the earliest, and I won't be able to watch the games. But whatever, I can figure it out. That's going to be it for Worlds. And wrapping this up quickly, I got a couple manga recommendations. As you can see on the screen, this one is pretty good. It's called Nue no Onmyoji, I guess. Nue space No space Onmyouji. I recommend this one for sure. It's pretty interesting in terms of artwork and story-wise. I've only read one chapter, but as you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, the artwork's actually pretty fucking good. So keep an eye out for this. I'm not gonna spoil it or anything like that, but would not be surprised if this gets an anime adaptation. And then the other recommendation I'm gonna give is Kagurabachi. This series is fucking absolutely sick in terms of artwork. Also, cool storyline as well. I definitely see this getting an anime adaptation very, very soon. Looking at some panels, let me find one panel in particular that I'm thinking of. If you're watching on YouTube, you guys should be. Like, the artwork is just dope. The use of motion is sick. And then, I don't know, I'm just a big fan. I mean, the artwork style is like the character design, I should say, is very reminiscent of like some of these old school like shonens, because it looks kind of like One Piece, kind of like Naruto, um, in terms of the character design. Not really in terms of the artwork, just the character design. But like as you can see here with some of these panels, they're just absolutely gorgeous, and the use of space is and dimension is fucking through the roof. So definitely keep an eye out for this one. This is probably going to be a absolute banger of an anime, so keep an eye out, guys. You guys should for sure take a look into that. And last thing I wanted to mention, oh, I don't have time. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate it. I watched Halloween Ends. That movie sucks. That was the last thing I wanted to say. I give it a 3 out of 5, or sorry, 3 out of 10. But I'm at my 30-minute mark here. So, thank you guys. I'll catch you next week. Please like, comment, subscribe. All of my links down in the description below. Appreciate the support, and I'll catch you guys next week. Peace.